This conference will now be recorded.
In this section, we are going to use policy diff feature of ASM to find out differences between two security policies, and we'll try to merge it. Along with this, we'll also try to export the policy in terms of XML file, edit its settings, and have it imported back again. So let's go ahead with policy diff. First of all, I'll create a security policy. Let's give it a name as lab 13A. And in the advanced section, I will assign a server technology as Apache for this and create the security policy. Now let's go ahead and modify one of the settings for learning scheme, which is part of this policy. So in order to do that, I will be going to application security, policy building, learning and blocking settings. From here, if I just expand the file type section, I'll see that at present learn new file types is set to never. Let me change this and make it always. With this, I'll just save this change and click on apply policy. With this, let us go ahead and create the second policy. I'm going to give the policy name as lab 13B. And from here, the server technology which I am going to choose for this specific policy is, let's say, PHP. And then I create the policy. So before I go ahead and use policy diff feature, let me check the settings of the second policy that I created. In here, if I expand the file types, I'll see that the learn new file types is currently set to never. Now let's go ahead and make use of policy diff to see the difference between these two security policies. So I'll go to application security, security policies, and policy diff. From here, I'll be choosing my first policy and second policy. And for lab purpose, I'm just using this working mode as work on the original. If you're working on a production environment, you can choose this as work, make a copy or work on a copy. Let's just click on calculate differences. Now in the policy differences section, I'll see the different entity types of each of the security policy. So if I just click on this, I'll be able to find out that for this 13A policy, the learn new file type is set to always, and for 13B, it is set to never. Like this, I can even check the difference between the server technologies. So if I click on server technology, for 13A, I see that it is only in configured as Apache in 13A, and 13B has PHP. Now, if I plan to merge the settings from 13A to 13B, I will make use of auto merge option. So if I just click on auto merge, I will get a new prompt asking me how do you want to handle the missing entities as well as the common entities. So for now, what I want is all the settings from 13BA should be copied to 13B. So I'll just select this option, and I want the common entities from 13A to be accepted by 13B. So I'll just choose this option, accept all from 13A to 13B, and then just click on merge. The moment I click on merge, I will get a prompt saying the policies were merged successfully. I click OK, and then let me again go back to my policy 13B. Let's view the learning and blocking settings. So for 13B, if now after merging, I expand the file type section, I'll see that it has changed to always. So before using the policy def function, it was set to never. So this is how you can compare two different policies on your ASM using policy diff function. Now let's go ahead with security policy editing. First of all, before editing, let me just apply this. So before editing any or exporting the security policy settings, let me have a look at the policy properties. So in order to look for the policy properties, I will be going to application security, policy, and policy properties. From here, I am currently opting 13B as my target policy. So if I click on advanced, in here I will be able to see the various settings of the security policy. Like let's say at present this policy is in transparent mode. At present the maximum HTTP header, there is no restriction which is set. Or maybe if you see allowed response codes, all these response codes are allowed. So these are the various settings of my security policy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this security policy and then change the settings in XML file. So in order to export the security policy, you will be going to application security, security policies, and let's say just choose that specific policy. Where is it? Select this and click on export. The moment you click on export, the format you have to choose as XML, and the compact format you can just enable. And then you click on export your security policy. So it will get downloaded to your local system. After this, you can open up.
This conference will now be recorded.
You can open up your security policy in, let's say, WordPad file. And from here, let me search for transparent option. So currently my enforcement mode, if you see, is transparent. Let me change this to blocking. So I have changed the settings here to blocking. Now let me also search for, I do Control F and then search for maximum HTTP length. So in here at present, as you had seen, there was no value which was set. So it is showing as 0. So let me change this to, let's say, 5000. And let me also find out allowed response code. So in here, I see all these response codes are allowed in my security policy. Let me delete one of the codes. So 503 I'm going to remove from my policy. I just delete that specific line. After this, I save this file and will just close it. Now again, I will go back to my F5 and I will try to import this specific security policy. So you have an option as import policy. And after selecting import, you just select the file, click open, and in the import target, you select replace policy. The policy which has to be replaced is 13B. So your existing policy will get modified. After selecting all these options, you just click on import policy. So once the importing is done, let's again review the policy settings. So I'll go to application security, policy, policy properties. So in here, if you see, the policy mode is showing as blocking. And if I come down even further, I'll see that the maximum HTTP header length is currently showing as 5000 bytes. And in the allowed response codes, 503 is not available. So we have done all the modifications which we want in the XML file and then just imported that file on our F5. So this is also one of the ways in which you can edit your security policy settings. So with this, we complete this section.